All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. So good to have you here as always. Love being able to do our Friday reviews. I was actually just traveling for about 10 days and excited to get back to the show. Today, we're going to be going over a product review, the exact skin anti-aging based moisturizer I've been using now for over 6 months. And I want to share with you why I use this one, the specific unique peptides that are actually in it, and why I've become a very big believer in this company. So I'll share that. I also want to go over a book review for you here today. I got to hear this speaker just about a month ago, and I had no idea. Honestly, I didn't know who he was. Passionate, been doing this for over 20 years, great storyteller, writes very short motivational based books. So since I'm reading it, I wanted to pass it along to you. And then I've got some great research, really important research. I have an update to Wednesday's show, and that's why I do hope you tune in on a daily basis, because I'm always giving you updates. There is a study that I quoted in the Rain Barrel Effect that's actually even more, I guess, appalling, but we need to know about it in terms of learning disabilities in children, as well as ASD, autism spectrum disorder. So I want to give you the update on that. I'm going to probably just do a quick intro to that show just to show that there is additional research, even what I went over. So it's really important that you check that out. And then going over, I always want to share with you the positives of artificial intelligence, because there can be a lot of negatives. I'm not going to deny that at all. And it can be used for very immoral purposes, and unfortunately it will be. But there's a lot of positives, and I want to share a positive with you today on something that was researched and really easily found out in a day rather than doing weeks of controlled studies on how to boost your mood, like very simply, very inexpensively. So I want to share that with you here today. All right, let's dive in. As I said, I've been on 10 days of traveling all to the West Coast. I'm an East Coast kind of guy. I love the West Coast, but I've definitely noticed over the years, it's funny. When I graduated from undergrad, I wanted to actually move to California. It was definitely a dream of mine. I was obviously in the health and fitness-based field. I would say more towards fitness nutrition at that time, for sure. And that's where the hub was. It certainly wasn't in Boston, Massachusetts. But nevertheless, like if you're a Bostonian, you're a Bostonian. It just seems to be the way that it is. You can't take Boston out of me, no matter how hard you try. The sports, the strangeness of the Bostonian-based culture, the academia, like all those different things. And I know I'm saying it's definitely not better than anybody else or any other place. It's just unique to Boston, and it's kind of odd, to be honest with you. And I don't know that it's the best, but it becomes ingrained a little bit in who you are, and it's hard to fight that. So although I love my West Coast trips, and they're very relaxing, they really are. They're nice. I got to meet so many great people, though. And one question I had for you, and that's why I bring this up before we get to our recap and then our product reviews, is would you be interested? You can just leave it in the comments below. Would you be interested in me creating, like, I do this for all my podcast categories. I have an intermittent fasting category. I've got a sleep category, brain health, longevity, high performance health, thyroid, hormones, etc. Do you want me to create a separate category for interviews with Dr. Cabral? Meaning like the shows that I'm on other people's podcasts. Would you like me to create a podcast category for that? So every time I'm on a show that I think is worthwhile for you, maybe they all aren't, and maybe just the ones that I think are more worthwhile, I'll put that in that category. Let me know if that's of interest to you. Just simply drop it in the comments below. If enough people say yes, all right, we'll have, excuse me, I'm all choked up. We'll have our team create that. And of course, we'll send it out and talk about it on a Friday review. All right, let's get into that podcast recap quick. Monday's show is the Intermediate Effect. This is a show that I did as much for myself that I did for anybody else. And that's like a lot of my mindset and motivation Monday. Sometimes, well, all the time, there's an ebb and flow to life. And sometimes you're at a low point. You really are. You're just feeling like you can't catch a break, and that you think you're doing everything that you should be the right way, and it just doesn't seem to be flowing. Like every day is the trial of Sisyphus, right? You're pushing the boulder up the hill, And at the end of the day, something else comes up and the boulder just rolls right back down and you got to do it again tomorrow, right? And so the intermediate effect explains that. It explains what you're missing, what you need to do to get past that hump. Really great, for myself, and I think hopefully it's helpful for others as well. That was episode 2943. All these shows can be found at stephencabral.com/podcasts. All right, corticosteroid dangers. Please check out that show. That's a public service announcement for anybody that's been on hydrocortisone, cortisone, prednisone, etc. So definitely check that out. A couple weeks ago, I did one on antihistamines. I'll do one coming up on PPIs and acid blockers. Okay, Wednesday's show was Heavy Metals, linked to autism. Super strong research. It's been around since at least 2005. I'll be talking about it a little bit more on today's show as well. This is important. This is really important. With 1 out of 68 kids and potentially increasing, we need to know what's going on. Like, what are all the reasons? Heavy metals is not the only reason. We know there's gut health issues. We know there's all sorts of different things, but we need to help our children. We really do. We need to help our kids. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with any kids. I'm not saying that at all. And I want to be sensitive to that. But I want everybody who wants to find the underlying root cause to begin to move in those right directions, right? Because we just want to help our kids. That's basically it. Anybody that's a parent, and of course many others, they understand that. It's like, well, whatever you need to do, like anything for your kids. All right. And then yesterday's show was signs of too much or too little salt in your body. So that's an important one just to know, because at some time or another, you're going to experience the hyper or hyponatremia, too much or too little salt. And what are the signs and symptoms of that? Okay. Let's move on now to our product review of the week, and then we'll get to our book review. This is a product. I'm going to hold it up right here. Very simple labeling, no hype, nothing like that. Has really simple name as well. One Skin. So One Skin Body is the name of this product. If I zoom in really close, you can kind of see it maybe with the light. There's only about a quarter of a bottle left here. This is a product that I get on auto ship. I just have a subscription on it. And this product, like their face and their eye, I can talk about that in a second, has a peptide in it called OS1. And that is the only, to date, it is the only peptide scientifically proven to reverse skin aging at the molecular level. That means the actual cells, the tissues. I want to explain why. And they have it in multiple different versions. I like the moisturizing cream for the body because it actually spreads really easy. It gets absorbed, and there's no greasiness on my skin, which I really like, because then I can put on a dress shirt, I can put on a t-shirt for working out. It doesn't get on your sheets or anything like that. So I'm a big advocate of the product. And also, when you use this product, the nice thing is, I've met the founders, Carolina, I've met the others as well multiple times. This is I believe it's I know that there's 2 female founders, but I believe it's 4 women. I don't know if they're all from South America that did their PhD in research, all in skin health and skin anti-aging. So really amazing team. But what I wanted to share with you is this. There's 3 ways that this works, because I like the science behind products, because there's obviously a million moisturizers, right? Here's how it works. The peptide OS1, that's what I wanted to share with you too. So a quick aside, all of the ingredients in their product, they look at EWG.org, Skin Deep, and all of them are clean ingredients. And because I obviously only want to put clean ingredients on my skin because they get absorbed through the skin, which is semi-permeable, and into my bloodstream. So that's important. All right. So number 1, this is how the product works. The specific peptide, OS1, switches off zombie cells under the skin, senescent cells. Senescent cells are cells that all cells are programmed to die after a certain period of time. These ones don't get the signal. So they hang around and they create inflammation. It is those zombie cells, also called senescent cells, that create inflammation and aging of the skin over time. OS1, applied topically, helps to remove those senescent cells, which is pretty amazing, right? Okay, the next thing it does is it boosts the biomarkers of healthy skin, including collagen and hyaluronic acid. That means it enables those collagen and hyaluronic acid markers to be greater absorbed. So that helps then to do what? Improve skin elasticity, right? Add elasticity back, reduce fine line and wrinkles. That's what it's clinically proven to be able to do. And that it supports activation of cellular repair pathways. If we begin to move out the senescent cells and we bring back in the ability to use collagen and hyaluronic acid again, it starts the repair process. That's why on their website, you'll see amazing before and afters. And typically it takes 3 to 6 months because these things don't happen overnight, but you see that progress. That's the great thing. So what I do is, because I'm not someone that stays out of the sun, for me, I have decided that there's going to be a trade-off with some fine lines, some wrinkles, for being able to absorb vitamin D and be out in the sun and have a tan. I feel great when I'm out in the sun. So what I do is I'm starting to come up with a little compromise. I'm starting to use obviously a clean SPF on my face if I'm out for a long period of time. For 20 to 30 minutes, I still don't put anything on. That's me, but you might be very different. But what I use is the moisturizer for both the face, the body, which I'm talking about right here, the body lotion, and the eye, and I'll talk about that in a moment, from OneSkin. So OneSkin puts their peptide in all of their different products. The face is specifically formulated for the face. The eye, which I need all the help I can get, thank you genetics, is to reduce puffiness because there's a little caffeine in there, and it helps with the fine lines around your eyes as well. And then the body, I put that on my neck. I put it on the back of my neck as well, which gets sun. I put it on the top of my chest, and I put it on my arms, which are exposed to the sun. So what that helps me to do is improve that overall dry skin, the elasticity, and any kind of fine lines that might be starting to form. So like I said, I've known and been using OneSkin now for well over a year. Big fan of the product, and I've been able to see the results. So what we're going to do is link up a link at stevencabral.com/2947 to the OneSkin body and their other products. We're almost always able to get a discount code. So I'm going to link up that discount code for you. Definitely recommend checking it out. And I'm sure, just like, most high-end companies, they guarantee the results. So they've got almost 5 stars. They put all their clinical studies up there. They've got 12-week clinical studies that show an improvement from anywhere from 38% to 41%, which is pretty remarkable. And 70% of participants saw some type of improved texture. 72% of participants saw an improvement in overall appearance. So, I mean, this is pretty impressive. They also do skin biopsies, and they actually show you the biopsies of what it looks like with OneSkin versus no OneSkin. So wanted to bring that detailed product review to you. And there it is. Now, every time I want to talk about the specific moisturizers I use, I can just point right to that podcast. All right, let's talk about our book review of the week, and I need to grab it here. All right, so book review of the week right here on my desk, called The Energy Bus by John Gordon. So this is a very short book. All of his books, I found out, were fairly short. It's 150 pages about, but the text isn't also very small either. So this is a book that you could read in a night or two. I mean, you really could. And I think it's one of those books that you won't want to put down. So it's almost as if I was speaking about in the beginning. If you're someone who feels stuck, you're looking for a career change, you're looking for a new community change, you're looking for a new group of friends-based change, like you're looking to do something with your life, to find the purpose, to find energy, to find passion, to have a new reason to wake up with energy in the morning, this book called The Energy Bus is all about that. It's not talking about what we do at home, lab testing, looking at your different, nutrients, vitamin, mineral deficiencies, gut health, all of that. It's actually looking at more of life from a mental-based state. And it uses the analogy of a bus. So you're the bus driver. So it starts off, I'm not going to give the whole book away. I'm sure John wouldn't want me to do that. But basically it starts off like this. You are the driver of your life. You're the bus driver of your life. And you need to decide who you're going to pick up on that bus and where you're going to go and how you're going to move along that path. So it's a fun analogy. It's a fun story that he writes. It's motivational. And if you feel stuck right now, this might be a quick 1-2 night read. that's very enjoyable. I got to hear John speak, and like I said, he's an excellent speaker, and that's that. I don't know him personally, but I know he's a consultant to major sports teams, major companies, and he writes very engaging, well-written stories that flow. Basically, just a giant story. I've got another one of his books. I'll probably recap that maybe in a couple weeks when I get a chance to read that. But this was his kind of first book to hit. And it might be one that you enjoy. All right. So it's called The Energy Bus by John Gordon. I will link it up in today's show notes. All right. So we're going to get on now to our 2 research publications for the week. The first one is my follow-up on environmental mercury release, special education rates, and autism disorder, an ecological study of Texas. So I spoke about this before, and I was actually on the University of Texas website. And they stated 17%. And I knew it wasn't right. Like I knew that was not right, but it's on their website. So, and in my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, I wrote 61%. And so I said, this can't be because like my entire book is footnoted. I have so when people talk about natural health, they're like, oh, there's no research behind natural health. It's so insane to say that. Like it's literally so insane. So The Rain Barrel Effect, which is the book that I wrote a few years back, has over 300 scientific citations. And so I said, let me go back. Let me find the scientific citations here. So I go back and I'm going to read it to you specifically. On average, this is right on PubMed, literally right on PubMed, all peer-reviewed scientific research, okay? So on average, for each 1,000 pound of environmentally released mercury, there was a 43% increase in the rate of special education services and a 61% increase in the rate of autism. The association between environmentally released mercury and special education rates were fully mediated by increased autism rates. This ecological study suggests the association between environmentally released mercury and the developmental disorders such as autism. So again, I just wanted to share with you that heavy metals are real. They are microscopic. They are in our soil. They are in our water. And they're even put in things like medications, the silver filling people have in their mouth, and much more. So is this to scare people? No. But as I talked about, and I'll just link it up today. So that was let's just find that episode for you. You can go in depth on how to test yourself for heavy metals and how to do a heavy metal detox and much more. That was episode 2945, and I would recommend checking that out. And it's most important for new moms or moms and families that are thinking about conceiving, because the biggest factor was mothers, unfortunately, passing on the mercury they have in their body from their blood through the placenta to the unborn child. So again, I don't want to cause fear, but we have to bring this up because whether we want to talk about it or not, it's real, it exists, and it's the statistics are actually, very frightening. So wanted to share that with you. And on my previous podcast, again, I go much more in depth. Okay, last one. Of course, we're going to bring a bright spot to you. This one is in some of the benefits of actually artificial intelligence and virtual reality. So what they were able to do is they were actually able to put virtual reality goggles on participants or virtual reality based scenes. And what they would do is they would change the scene and they would actually measure the mood of the people who were seeing these images. And what they found, and they found it actually fairly quickly, is that the more colorful the scene, almost regardless of what it was, there was a boost in mood. And so they would show neutral colors. Like a lot of people paint their homes very neutral colors. We do the same. Like we've got all neutral colors in our homes, like off whites and cool whites and warm whites. But it's kind of all like just neutral colors. That's basically it. But what they found, and this is something we do in our home, is that bright pops of color boosted mood, regardless of basically anything else. And I found that to be interesting because we can put plants in our house. Like if you look behind me, I've got plants here, I've got a plant over here. I can see outside, the window. But also what you can do is you can put up colorful photos. You can put up colorful artwork. And you don't have to buy expensive artwork. You can go to your, local TJ Maxx or whatever it might be, and get yourself a nice colorful painting. And so pops of color, whether it be pillows, it be greenery, flowers, painting, even the colorful books I have that you can't see that are right off screen here. This colorful, painting that I have right behind me. All of these colors can help to boost mood. So every little bit counts. And I think that that's something that we might overlook. And so what I want you to do is where you spend the most time in your home, try to bring in some greenery from outside. So just some plants into your home. Try to bring in maybe a few flowers, like if you can, or even plants. Plants are better because you can keep them growing, right? So like hydrangeas is one of we're a Portuguese, background. So bringing in some nice hydrangeas can be very colorful, very beautiful. And then other pops of color can help you keep your mood boosted all day long. So wanted to share that with you. Inexpensive, easy to implement, and I think you'll feel the benefit. Plus, it does show that we can use our virtual reality and sometimes augmented reality using AI for good, right? It doesn't always have to be evil. Hopefully this was helpful. All the show notes will be linked up at stephencabral.com/2947. Have an amazing rest of the day, and I'll be back tomorrow answering our community's questions each and every weekend on our Cabral House Calls. Stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.